Well, joining me now are three women who knew her and covered her for years. Ruth Marcus, deputy editorial page editor at the Washington Post. Lisa Beatty-Friedlinghuysen, excuse me for butchering your name, a former law clerk to Justice Ginsburg. And Erin Carman, New York Magazine senior correspondent and co-author of the notorious RBG. Ruth, first to you, this was a path-breaking woman. I can't over-exaggerate it. You were at Harvard Law. You can't imagine when you were at Harvard Law, the 9 women who were at Harvard Law with her in that class being told, justify that why you can take the place of a man.
She ushered in and was in the vanguard of a revolution of women at Harvard Law School. When I was at Harvard, I remember actually seeing her come to speak at Harvard when I was a student there, and she was on the appeals court, and it was a packed room to hear her because it was clear that it wasn't clear that she was going to be on the Supreme Court, but it was clear that her previous career as an advocate for women's rights had been so significant. For me at Harvard, I had many more women than that in my class, but I did not have a female professor until my 3rd year of law school. And now I'm just going to say with some pride, my daughter is a first-year student at Harvard Law School, now remote, and she has female professors from her first semester. So thank you to Justice Ginsburg for seeing that shift happen.
And Elena Kagan, of course, another Harvard graduate who was a colleague and a cherished colleague of her on the court. She also had a wonderful relationship that I witnessed myself, Sandra Day O'Connor, who mentored her. Lisa, you clerking up there probably saw that as well. I remember her one night talking about at a birthday party for Sandra Day O'Connor, and her telling the story about how when she first was assigned in her freshman year on the court, a majority opinion by Chief Rehnquist, and she was really scared by it. And Sandra Day said in her trademark way, just do it. Take one foot in front of the other, just do it. And that she gave her the spine and the confidence to proceed, and really took her under her wing. And how lonely she was after Sandra Day O'Connor decided on taking early retirement to take care of her ailing husband. How lonely it was to be the only woman on the court, Lisa.
Right. No, I think she had a wonderful relationship with Justice O'Connor. In fact, during the Justice Ginsburg's writing of VMI, her landmark women's rights opinion as a sitting Supreme Court justice, she used Justice O'Connor's words in articulating the standard that states must show in order to, when they had a gender classification, in order to exclude women, you had to provide an extremely persuasive justification. And those were words that she had used from an earlier O'Connor opinion. And when she decided to read that, a summary of that opinion on the bench, she looked over at Justice O'Connor when she articulated that standard.
Really paying homage to her predecessor on the court. Erin, you talked about, her hopes about seeing gender representation in the court. And let's talk about Notorious RBG. And here is something from the movie, from the documentary.
Now the perception is, yes, women are here to stay. And when I'm sometimes asked, when will there be enough? And I say, when there are 9. People are shocked. But there have been 9 men, and nobody's ever raised a question about that.
So, Erin, talk about, how she became the cultural icon that she became, and the phenomenon, and how she reacted to it.
So for most of her career, Justice Ginsburg really wanted to positively shape our understanding of the law. She wanted to figure out a way to undo more than 100 years of constitutional jurisprudence that said that basically it was okay to discriminate against women as long as you told them it was a favor. But by the time Justice O'Connor retired, and during that period that she was the only woman on the court, and in the years that followed, even when she did have her compatriots, Justice Sotomayor and Justice Kagan, she often found herself in the minority. She found herself in defeat, in dissent. and she would put on this snazzy dissent collar. And she did so in June 2013 when she dissented in a really important voting rights case, the Shelby County versus Holder case that undermined the Voting Rights Act. And that week, she actually broke the record for dissenting from the bench. She made everybody in the courtroom, kind of in a break from usual practice, listen to her protest. And that was what inspired my co-author, Shauna Kniznik, to dub her the notorious RBG for her, in fact, minority opinion for her dissent. And so I think from the beginning, she captured people's imaginations when she was protesting things going wrong in our democracy and in the institution of the court. And then we had the opportunity to tell the story about how in her own quiet, counterintuitive way, she had been notorious all along. She had actually devoted herself to the values that she was standing up for that day.
And Lisa, you went back to VMI with her after that notable case when there actually were women cadets. Tell us about that.
That was a wonderful experience, I have to say. That was about 20 years after the decision came down. You know, VMI had been this unique institution with four-star generals and their citizen soldier training, you know, living in the barracks, a tremendous alumni, and VMI had so resisted having women join its ranks that they had set up a separate but equal school for women called VWEL. And, you know, the resistance in that community was really quite strong to women joining. So when we went back together to see the school, to meet some of the very first women cadets and then the current women cadets, see how they were doing, it was wonderful to see how they were thriving. They were so impressive. You know, they were studying nuclear physics. They were trying to solve, you know, water crises in Africa. They were just great. And the other thing that was moving about that experience was that they were all so grateful to the justice for giving them the opportunity to pursue their dreams. We had a terrific visit, a fun thing to do after working on that case.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.